In 1879, Anna Heinning Bates went into labor. Standing almost 8 feet, it's no wonder her baby was also a shocking size. When her water broke, she lost 6 gallons of fluid. That's when the doctor came to a chilling realization. Some people in history are larger than life, and in the case of Anna Heinning Bates, also just very large. In fact, she was one of the tallest people who ever lived. It's 1846 in Nova Scotia. Anne Graham and Alexander Swan, 2 immigrants from Scotland, have just welcomed their 3rd child, a baby girl. But this was no regular baby. Some sources suggest that the newborn weighed 13 pounds. By the age of 4, she was over 4 feet tall and weighed more than 90 pounds. And by the time she reached the age of 15, she was 7 feet tall and still growing. Although it was never officially diagnosed, it was later determined that Anna was born with gigantism, which occurs from a tumor in the pituitary gland, which in turn releases excessive amounts of growth hormone. Individuals who live with gigantism grow very rapidly and typically have a significantly shorter lifespan. But though Anna had been dealt a difficult hand, fate nonetheless had an adventurous life in store for her. Anna's family was sympathetic to her unique condition. When she outgrew her elementary school desk, her father built a larger one by hand to accommodate her needs. He also built her an extra large bed to ensure that she stayed just as comfortable as her 12 siblings. Unfortunately, he couldn't protect her from the outside world. As news spread of this giant little girl, people in Nova Scotia began to visit her family's farm in the hopes of catching a glimpse of her. Local newspapers began to publish stories, which only added to the increased interest. One paper even referred to her as an infant giantess. So from an early age, Anna became a curiosity, and her family saw an opportunity. Anna's family needed some financial support. As farmers, they were certainly no strangers to putting their other children to work, and Anna was no exception. Since she kept growing, she frequently required new clothing and shoes that were especially expensive. To make more money, the family made the decision to put Anna to work by touring around local fairs as an attraction. Despite accusations that her family exploited her, most historians agree that they genuinely cared and ensured that she was safe at all times. Anna wasn't always touring in her youth. She often cared for her younger siblings and tried to occupy her time with reading and staying focused on other artistic interests. So, although her experience wasn't common, she did her best to have a normal childhood. She also harbored a very normal dream, but sadly, it was doomed from the beginning. Anna really wanted to be a teacher, but while staying with her aunt and attending school, she encountered new difficulties. She found the classrooms physically constricting because of her size. And, of course, people often gawked at her and made her feel especially uncomfortable. This experience ended her teaching aspirations, but thankfully, greater things were in store. In 1862, she relocated to America and took a job in the P.T. Barnum Museum as the Nova Scotian Giantess. There, she received tutoring and learned how to sing and play piano. The museum offered her jaw-dropping opportunities, many of which were unheard of at the time. She received $23 a week in gold, the equivalent of $500 today. She was also provided a chaperone and given the ability to earn extra income from pictures sold of her likeness. Remarkably, for the time, her contract allowed her to keep the rights to those images. During her tenure at the museum, Anna performed characters like Lady Macbeth and interacted with audiences in Q&A formats to detail her experiences as one of the tallest women known to man. This experience was largely positive for her, as she got to control her narrative instead of merely being a freak. It's 1865, and Barnum's Museum is ablaze and one of the most spectacular fires New York has ever seen. And Anna is in the midst of it. The stairwell is ablaze, and Anna, who weighs nearly 400 pounds, is far too large to fit through a window. Somehow, with the help of 18 people who carried her, she managed to escape. Heroically, she had helped others escape before her, and in doing so, almost doomed herself. By most accounts, Anna was intelligent and kind. As she met people on tours who were also physically different, she became fast friends and formed bonds with them very deeply. In fact, her magnetic personality allowed her to become friends with one of the most famous royals of the time. Anna became no stranger to traveling the globe. She made the rounds all over Europe and the United States. In 1863, she even befriended Queen Victoria while touring as an attraction in Europe, and the two became unlikely friends. Anna attracted many suitors. It's said that she received numerous proposals, but because of her career as a performer, she chose to decline those offers. It was difficult for her to ascertain whether someone was being genuine or just wanted her money. But then she met a man who made her believe in true love. No, not him, the big guy. While at a circus in Halifax, Anna couldn't help but spot Martin Van Buren Bates, a man who was also pushing 8 feet tall. Naturally, Martin spotted Anna too, and so did a promoter, which led to a few interesting developments in both her career and her love life. Anna married Martin in 1871 in London after the couple fell madly in love and began touring together in the circus. In 1861, after Queen Victoria lost her husband, Prince Albert, she fell into a deep state of depression and grieved for the rest of her life. But her personal loss didn't diminish her appreciation for other people's love stories. In 1871, when word spread that Anna had found love, the Queen decided to do something special for her. She gifted her a bridal gown that was made of 100 meters of satin and 50 meters of lace and embroidered orange blossoms. Rumor has it that Queen Victoria arranged for the Bateses' wedding to take place at the Church of St. Martin in the Fields. Anna Bates returned to Buckingham Palace after receiving an invitation from the Queen to visit and received a diamond ring. The bridegroom also received a gold watch. Together, the couple later went on to meet with the Queen at least twice more. A year after marrying, Anna and her new husband purchased a farm in Ohio and built a house that could accommodate their lofty statues. The main part of the structure had unique specifications, like tall ceilings and wider doorways, with all of the furniture being custom-built. But the couple decided to ensure that the back part of their home was of average size in order to suit the needs of both servants and guests. Anna was an animal lover. She disapproved of horse racing, and on her farm she made it a point to take in animals that had retired from the circus. In 1872, still newlyweds, Anna and her husband conceived their first child, but it ended in tragedy. On May 19th, a baby girl weighing 18 pounds died at birth. 6 years later, Anna became pregnant with a son. On January 18, 1879, her water broke and she reportedly lost 6 gallons of fluid. She was in for an extremely rough labor. As the hours passed, the doctor came to a disturbing realization. Anna's baby was so big, the doctor couldn't fit his forceps around its head. To usher the child into the world, they placed a bandage around its neck and pulled. He was a whopping 23 pounds, and Martin later wrote, "He looked at birth like an ordinary child of 6 months." But tragically, this was another doomed birth. After just 11 hours of life, her baby boy had died. Posthumously, he received a Guinness World Record for being the largest newborn ever recorded. The loss of the second child took an incredible toll on Anna. She fell into a deep depression and no longer wanted to tour. She withdrew from social life to cope with her pain. Although she later attempted to tour with the circus again, she ultimately had to withdraw. Anna and her husband decided to live a quieter existence during the late 1870s. By the spring of 1880, Anna spent her time solely on the farm, and she and Martin became more heavily involved with the Baptist Church. In 1888, after having struggled with tuberculosis and thyroid issues, Anna died from heart failure during her sleep, just one day before her 42nd birthday. After her death, Martin erected a monument on her grave to honor her. A year later, he remarried and moved out of their Ohio home so that his average-sized second wife could be more comfortable. However, when Martin died in 1919, he was buried next to Anna and their baby boy. To this day, Seville, Ohio continues to remember Anna and her husband. There's an exhibit dedicated to the couple with artifacts and information about their life together. In Halifax, there's also a museum dedicated specifically to the Giantes, and some of her descendants are still involved in curating and guiding tours for visitors. Throughout her life, Anna was often presented and promoted as being more than 8 feet tall. In reality, she stopped growing before getting quite that large, but she certainly came close at 7 feet 11 inches. To further sensationalize the attraction it shows, the exaggeration of her height often became necessary and lingered in newspapers despite the inaccuracy. Records obtained from the British Library show posters from the days when Anna was touring. She was advertised as the largest woman in the world and received top billing over Chang and Eng, the original Siamese twins, who were massive stars in London at the time. Anna's placement above them as headliner continues to serve as a reminder that she attracted crowds as large as she lived. Thanks for watching History Exposé. If you love uncovering the best stories in history, hit like and subscribe to keep exploring with us. Don't forget to visit our main page, Factornate, for more incredible facts about everything.